Now, you may have heard me say in some of my previous videos that everything in life is a gift and a blessing. And it's such an important concept to understand because there's two types of people in the world. There are those that look at the world as being half empty, as being this negative place, as being this place where there is no opportunity, where there's no hope, there's no chance. And then there's other people that look at it from the more positive side of things. But to really get the most out of life is to really understand what life is all about. And life is all about growing. It's all about expanding. It's all about accomplishing everything that you can possibly accomplish in this lifetime that makes you happy, that makes you passionate, that fulfills your heart and your heart's desire. You see, whilst it is true that we are born with all sorts of different gifts and talents, and that there is a uniqueness to each and every one of us that gives us a unique role to play using whatever skills and talents and gifts that we each have. And every single person has it. And every single person has a purpose, has a true mission and a reason for being here. But if you remove all the physical aspects of that, it just comes down to it being as simple as we're here to grow, we're here to learn, we're here to expand and to become all that we possibly can be. Now, the only way, or should I say the fastest way to accelerate that process is to understand that everything that happens in your life happens for a reason. And I know that sometimes for a lot of people that can be very, very difficult to understand, especially when you don't have some of the basic concepts of the fact that we're all one, we're all interconnected, that, you know, there's a reason for you being here, there is a divine plan, there is a purpose to everything happening on this planet. When you start realizing that those concepts are true, and it's not just an intellectual understanding, because I know a lot of people that read spiritual books and they understand it intellectually, but they don't actually live it. But when you actually understand it and you have an experience of your oneness, of your interconnectedness with the divine, and that this reality is, for a lack of better words, an illusion, then everything changes. Because when you understand that everything is all one, then that technically means that everything is an aspect of you. Or, if you take it to the extremes, like I like to take it to the extremes, everything is you. And if everything is you, and everything, because everything is all one, then technically everything, if you label everything as being God, then technically you're God, okay? And I know that that can really, really upset people, sometimes saying it to that level of truth. But I have to, because it is the truth. But then what does that mean when you're creating all these bad things, okay? Or should I say, what does it mean when bad things are happening to you and life is beating you down and all the bad things that are happening in the world? Well, that's where things get very muddy, because that's where, once again, from the human small perspective, we look at our lives from this finite, mortal standpoint. We also give high value and credence to the 60 or 70 or 80 or 100 years that you're on this planet. But in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing in infinity. It's not even a blip. It doesn't even register on the time scale. And we're immortal. And because everything is all one, and because you are God, etc., blah, 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 you have chosen this embodiment. You might not remember that, and you might not believe that, and you might not know that, but you have. You chose every aspect of your life. And the interesting thing is that the quantum sciences are proving this to actually be factual reality. Yes, science is now able to show that we do create our own reality, and that our reality is based on our perception. In other words, when you put your focus on something, that energy that you're putting out to focus on something is what determines the outcome. It's what determines what actually you perceive and how you perceive it. And you're actually manufacturing that to a certain degree. From a quantum aspect, from the quantum field, it's 100%. But there is a collective consciousness on this planet. We're experiencing ourselves from such a small perspective that all the other aspects of ourselves that are having that experience are impacting that. There's a greater consciousness, right, that's impacting things in your reality. However, the more that you realize who you truly are as a divine being, as being interconnected, and that there is more to this reality than what meets the eyes. Again, science has actually proven that this physical reality is like less than 1% of what actually really exists. Again, proven. And they've done all sorts of different scientific experiments to actually prove that to be real. Now, why am I getting into all of this complex philosophical discussion? The reason why is because it's so important when it comes to understanding your reality, understanding how you perceive things, and understanding the impact of your thoughts, the impact of what you put your focus on, and also the impact of what you allow to manipulate you and control you. You see, these secrets that are not secrets, they've always been true and they've always been there. It's just that we haven't had the access to this information because it was hidden. This was what was in the secret sects and the cults and the occult and the mystery schools and all of these different ways in which this information was hidden from the general public over centuries and over a long period of time, because it's true power. When you understand your full divine nature and who you truly are as an aspect of God, like 100% of you is God. Again, scientifically proven, because on a subatomic level, we're all energy, we're all consciousness, we're all just an aspect of the quantum field vibrating at a different rate of vibration and structured slightly differently. But the essence of that energy is exactly the same. And that's the reason why AI and this whole concept of us living in a hologram, and all of that is actually more and more real than people can possibly imagine. And as humanity is evolving, we're wanting to play God. But the reason why we're wanting to play God is because we're trying to constantly understand who it is that we are. And ironically, we play God because we are gods. We are God. That's the mystery of life. And when you break free from the illusion, the matrix, so to speak, everything changes, but not in a negative way. See, all the negative stuff, all the bad stuff that we experience in our lives is all lower vibrational energy. In order to actually realize what I talk about, you have to raise your vibration. And you can only truly raise your vibration with love and with the understanding that everything's all one. And as you raise your vibration, it becomes impossible and more difficult to do things that are harmful and hurtful and that are coming from a separate consciousness. Because in order to do so, you have to lower yourself to that vibration. And that's the reason why even extraterrestrials are all over the place, but they're in higher realms of consciousness. And, we can get into all sorts of different conspiracy theories, but I'm just letting you know that we're infinite, and there are infinite realities and possibilities out there. So again, what has this got to do with the meaning of life? What has this got to do with why we're here and how we create our own reality? Well, we create our own reality because we're God. And if you even look at it, if you take away all the spiritual stuff, your conditioning, your programming, your beliefs affect every single decision you make in your life. If you believe that you're unworthy, then your life is going to reflect that. And it's going to be all the more difficult for you to live and to experience the greatest of possibilities that are available that other people do, right? It's harder to manifest that. If you don't believe that you're lovable, then chances are if you create and manifest a relationship in your life, or the relationships that you will take on, and the men or the women that you will attract to you will reflect that. These are so important concepts. And that's the reason why people keep creating abusive men or abusive women or whatever it is, because everything that you're creating in your life is based on your belief systems, your judgments, your interpretation of what this world is. And then based on that, you make decisions. And based on that, there's certain things that you're not able to attain or experience. Because if you don't believe that you're worth earning multiple six figures a year, then there's certain life experiences that you will never have that other people that do can. The only difference between each individual is their belief systems, their unique set of circumstances that they have had and were born into. And that is then also filtered by their unique personality traits and their skills and their talents, etc., etc. But when you understand, when you start understanding that everything's all one, then you start understanding how the great masters of this planet, like the Jesuses and the Buddhas and all of that, how they could live and walk in peace in the face of adversity, how they could teach about love, and how they could actually experience unconditional love for everyone, to have that compassion and empathy for every single person, regardless, and how they were in so many ways untouchable, it was because they attained a certain level of consciousness where they knew these truths that ancient wisdom has been imparting and teaching humanity for a very long time to those that are willing to listen. But humanity was so closed off and has been so closed off that it hasn't wanted to see beyond the blinders. And those blinders are coming off because it has to. It's a survival mechanism now. We're at the end of an age. We're heading into a new age. And these old ways can't sustain itself. And this world is not going to end. And I've got other videos about those sort of topics where I go more in depth about that. But coming back to the original topic here, when you understand that you create your own reality, when you understand that you're here to learn about who you truly are and who you were born to be, and to realize your inherent divinity, then you will also see that every single thing that happens to you is actually a gift and a blessing. Besides the fact that you're creating it, all of your choices, all of your belief systems, all of the decisions that you've made, regardless of how you perceived it, regardless of how bad it was, from a divine level, that is 100% the truth. It's also 100% the truth from this level. You just don't believe it. That's not how you experienced it. That's not how you interpreted it. But when you start changing all of that, you start changing how you perceive your reality through the lens of oneness and from the lens of being the creator of your reality, i.e. the God of your reality, and tapping into more of the oneness and the universal consciousness, then you start realizing that every single thing in this world that happens to you is a gift and a blessing. Now, why is that important? Because if you see everything as being a gift, no matter how bad it is, then you will actually receive the blessing of it. And you will, because you'll learn the lesson. You see, everything that happens to us is for one reason only: to give us the opportunity to rise above, to learn the lesson, so that we don't have to recreate that same circumstance or situation anymore. It deprograms us. It helps to change our belief systems if we allow it, if you have the right perception in place and that unity perception in place. Because then you're no longer a victim. There's no one to blame. So you don't even have to get upset. You can just go, oh, this happened. Why did that happen to me? Oh, okay, maybe it's because I behaved this way. Or maybe it's because I blah, 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 blah. Or maybe it's to teach me this. Maybe I need to create more boundaries. Maybe I need to get out of this situation. Maybe I need to change jobs. Maybe I need to make more effort here. Maybe I need to drop these behaviors because they just don't work for me anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? That is power. Because when you start looking at your reality in that way, as I said, it makes it so much easier to change, to transform your life. Because now you're the one in control. You're the one with the ultimate power. You're the one that has a say. And you're no longer dependent upon anybody outside of you for your happiness and for your ability to overcome and change your reality. And there's perks Because the other part of the blessing of realizing that everything is a lesson and getting the truth of the lessons that you're creating in your life is that you will create more synchronicities, more guidance, more assistance in overcoming anything that the outer world dishes at you. So when the government decides to do something, or when there's a war, or when there's a high inflation, or when it seems like things around you are crumbling, because you're operating from a frequency of greater love, greater compassion, unity consciousness, connected to more of the oneness and the quantum field, then you won't get impacted as much. You'll rise above it, or you'll get guided to avoid being in certain situations and circumstances that other people will get annihilated by. You become inherently protected in ways that you could not even possibly imagine. In some cases, you'll be aware of it. Where do you think miracles come from? It's just a word at the end of the day. But this is where I'm talking about becoming superhuman. Because then the synchronicities and the miracles that start happening in your life become normal. And you'll be surprised at the things that happen. And when you're fostering that relationship with your higher self, with your God self, and you're consciously working on getting more and more of that non-love and all the conditioning and the limitations and the programs and all of that stuff out of your body, and things just become easier and easier and easier because there's no longer all the filters and the programs that are overriding your conscious intentions and what you're wanting to accomplish in life. And then all of a sudden, your dreams and your passions become alive. Your heart opens and you now feel more love, not only for yourself, but everything around you. Because you no longer need those protections anymore because you're protected. The mysteries of life are not mysteries at all, but it works 100% of the time. And there are going to be people that are going to say that I'm full of crap and that I don't know what I'm talking about, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, what do I don't care what you think. I don't care what you believe. It works for me and I'm living it to whatever degree I'm living it and to whatever degree I embody it. But at the end of the day, the teaching is the same. The teaching is just be love. Love everyone. Love everything all the time. That will only yield more love in your life, which will only yield you being able to experience more and more of what I'm talking about. But there's one prerequisite. You have to choose love, unconditional love, to the best of your capabilities. And you have to understand that when you choose love and you invoke more love, more of that higher vibrational energy into your body, that it will start pushing out all that is not of that inside of you. So all the conditioning, all the pain, all the hurt, all the things that you took on, and people have no idea how deep that can go. And that's okay, because when you foster that relationship with self, when you spend the time to meditate, and when you give yourself permission to feel the non-love that comes up, and you give it healthy expression, and you focus on what's true and what's real from a love perspective, and you minimize the negative influences in your life, including media, which includes social media, as well as the mainstream media, you'll find that mental health will not be an issue. Anxiety and depression will not be an issue. Your health will change. You will naturally eat healthier foods. Your addictions will just start dropping from you and leaving you, because you can't sustain certain things when you choose love and raise your vibration, because you just out vibrate it all. And when you're vibrating at a higher rate, your consciousness expands. So you tap into more of the infinite consciousness. And that's the reason why you can manifest faster and quicker. That's the reason why miracles and blessings happen faster and quicker and with more influence. And that's the reason why you can relax more and not be stressed out, because you inherently know that everything's happening for a reason. And then you become the beacon, and then you're helping to raise the vibration of the planet too. So you're, by your very nature, impacting every single human being on this planet by raising your vibration. You don't even have to lift a finger. It's brilliant. The system is flawless. But this had to be real. This physical realm has to be real. And again, we're immortal anyway. All the bad things that are happening is just temporary. But when you feed it with negativity and complaining and buying into it through media, you're feeding it. Because again, whatever you put your focus on, that energy, you're creating it, you're making it happen. You never want to send anything other than unconditional love into the universe, because then you're lowering your vibration. And we all do it. You know, we all have judgments, we all have programs. That's the whole point that I'm getting to. That you become more and more aware of that, and you're able to more and more let it go. Because there is no punishment. There is no negative karma. The universe is 100% there for every single human being on this planet. 100% of the time, without exception. We're the ones that say no. We're the ones that have the walls up. We're the ones that mitigate it. And we're the ones that are causing the pain and suffering in our lives. The irony is that when we do that to ourselves, we impact everyone else around us too. And that's the reason why the world looks the way it did. Because at some point, we forgot. That's all. And there have been many that have embodied to try and remind us of the truth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, 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 if you like what I share, please do whatever you can to comment, like, share, or get people into my Facebook group or whatever else. It really, really helps me. I would really, really love to be able to do more of this and to impact more and more people's lives. My number one goal with everything that I do is to give people the experience of what I'm talking about through the reclaiming sessions and the different courses and programs and things like that that I am putting out. And most of it, honestly, is all free. Most of the most profound tools and techniques, as a matter of fact, all of the tools and techniques that I teach are fairly much, they're free. They're free. You can do it anywhere, any condition, any situation, any time, and it's all for free. You might have to pay for my time and so forth because I have limited time and I have to make a living, right? And all of that sort of stuff. But I'm putting so much content out for free too. So if you don't want the hand holding, or you don't want to have the assistance and to really be able to dive deep into all of this stuff, then do whatever you need to do, to just watch my videos. Every single person that pays for any one of my courses or programs or anything that I offer, I actually offer a free scholarship for someone that's truly, truly, truly in need. But this is important. This is not, I repeat, this is not woo-woo, mumbo jumbo, hippie, spiritual, new agey crap. Everything that I'm speaking is 100% real and attainable, and far more easily than people think, if you're willing to put certain things into practice in your life and you make this your highest priority above everything else. Because when you make this, meaning you, your growth, your expansion, your healing, the highest priority, then your outer world will reflect it. Your job will reflect it. Your income will reflect it. Your lifestyle will reflect it. And you'll be able to do things that you never even thought possible. But the time is now. Don't wait, because things are going to get way worse before they get better out there. And this is your only protection. People think that, I'm going to make millions of dollars and I'm going to make money, money, money. People think that money is actually going to protect them. People actually think that money is going to make it what's happening in the world and what's going to happen in the world, that money is going to make it easier for them. They think they're buying up all the survival equipment and all of the garbage and all of that stuff is what's going to help them. Science says that in the quantum field, we have infinite possibilities. So if you're connected with the quantum field, your God self, right? Your superconscious self, even if you're not prepared for what may or may not happen, it doesn't matter. Thank you.